Welcome back to the Modern Psychic Podcast. Today I have a wonderful guest here. This is Agnes Lukacs, and she is a psychic channel, a mentor, and an energetic activator. I love talking with other psychics, and so really excited to have you on here. She's from Budapest, and that's another really fun thing. I've never had anybody from Hungary before, and so you're my first. So welcome, welcome, Agnes.
Thank you, Naomi. I'm really so excited to be here and I can't wait to create some magic together with you.
Yes, absolutely. And so what I like to start with is I'd love for you to talk about your journey into stepping into the work that you're currently doing, and then kind of going into more detail about the work that you do now with helping people activate energetically and all of that.
Well, oof. Okay, so my journey started back like more than 20 years ago. And that's when I got very excited about conspiracy theories. So I got very deep into that. I really wanted to understand who we are and what are we doing here and what's the history of the planet and well, the galaxy and everything, kind of digging down. And later, a few years later, I had, when actually in 2006, when the book The Secret came out, at
Hmm.
that time I had a chronic, well, I had been having for 3 years a chronic illness, which was inflammation that I had symptoms every single day. And I had been trying to find a cure for it in every possible way to all the possible doctors and specialists and alternative and well, you name it. And I was not able to get over it. And when I bought the book, like the book came for me as well, like kind of I guess it was, the answer to my prayers. And I was reading it, and there was one line where he said, "You can right now, by believing what you desire and feeling that it has already happened, you can change anything. You can change your reality. Um, you can basically heal yourself right here, right now." And that sentence completely just I changed my reality because I remember just closing the book and said to myself, I am done with this. Like enough is enough. I'm done and I am healthy. And I remember owning these words and really allowing my body to get the new decision, the new the new message, my new conviction. And and from that moment on, all my symptoms disappeared, and never came back. So that was what we call instant healing, right? And
Absolutely.
I just didn't understand. So that was for me the big shift that put me on this quest of finding out what the heck happened there and how can I make it, how can I well, recreated in every area of my life. And that kind of put me in these 18 years of going down to basically every rabbit hole. And I really wanted to understand trauma. I wanted to understand, because of course, then afterwards I went really deep down into childhood and healing, and then I started to certify in many different areas, from tapping to basically past life regression to reprogramming subconscious mind into reading the Akashic records. Well, very, I would say, like, I was interested in every aspect of
Mhm.
understanding who we are and how we create reality, especially because I was always feeling that I want to create a life of true fulfillment and freedom and joy and abundance. And this is what I always had as a calling. So 9 years ago, after almost 10 years of working on myself, I started helping others to also liberate themselves and create that life that they meant for themselves. So this is where I am now after like almost, well, I would say 2 decades. And well, that's the short story.
Wow. Yeah, and I can already tell that there's so much depth into each of those steps that you just barely mentioned, you know, like and it's like, oh, we could totally go there. We could go deep into that, deep into this. So yeah, very, very
Absolutely. And I didn't even mention the last few years where, or my because of me doing my inner work and going through my ego deaths and all these awakenings and expansions of my consciousness, all my extrasensorial abilities opened up, like the clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, like basically all of them at kind of at once.
oh,
And me connecting to my higher self and me, like being able to yeah, like reconnect to that divine consciousness that is living inside of us, and then helping so many hundreds of others to do the same. That actually helped me to become who I am today, and having this ability to kind of shortcut the journey for others. And what just I said that I'm having chills because wow, like I'm just coming out of almost 2.5 years of hibernation, and I'm really happy to talk about this because I came out with something really extraordinary, and I'm so grateful that I was able to do this 2 years of basically almost no distractions that when it comes to 3D, only being so much focused on my inner world and my own going down to the depths of the depths of the depths, and taking my character, my personality to pieces, and then putting it back together. And that these 2 years actually were I would say, the craziest, the most transformative, the hardest from all these 18 or plus years. And it just finished a few, like I would say, couple of months ago. So it's mind blowing what's possible to be done now. And I'm so happy that you invited me because my message is so loud now because of
right.
what I have just found in these 2 years of contemplation and inner world transformation for myself.
Amazing. And I am so intrigued. I want you to, like, if you're open to it, I would love to hear you just let's just dive. Let's just dive into
Okay.
that.
Okay, absolutely, absolutely. So first of all, like why I was so obsessed, we can totally say that my entire, I would say maybe the last 6 years since I took my whole business online, especially when COVID came. But I already before I kind of started, but when COVID hit, I realized that I need to bring my knowledge, to bring my processes online because I can help many more people. And so it's like basically 5 years ago is when I started to deep dive into a lot of more methods and techniques than ever before. Basically, to that point, I was only working with tapping, the EFT tapping, which is absolutely amazing. And that helped me a lot to go deeper. But the last 5 years, I actually certified in more than 10, I think that it cannot be like even 15 different methods and techniques all
Oh, wow.
around all around, like all around the mind, the heart, body, soul, and the combination of all of that. And one of my biggest goals, I know this is going to sound super crazy, but I always
Not
had
not here. It probably won't sound crazy
this
here.
inner calling that I always wanted this. I think maybe it comes from science fiction, but I had this idea that the biggest desire that I have is that when somebody comes to me, a client in their suffering, in their pain, and inability to experience what they actually desire, and no matter what they do, they cannot experience that loving relationship or that healthy body or that dream job or that fulfillment, that abundance, that joy. And so things are not happening the way they would like it to be. And I always had this crazy idea that what if I, like, what I really, 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 really want is that if I look at a person, to be able to read it like in science fiction, like kind of a download that you have, and then you have access to everything that person ever have experienced as a soul, right? Basically all past lives, which I always say parallel, obviously, because they are just superimposed. It's not past, but anyway, I'm going to use past because that's what everybody's saying. But or just not only this life experience, and not only seeing the person since the conception, the time of their conception, into that 9 month, which many times, yeah, there's a lot of the core wound is being created in that area of their cycle of their lives. Then after birth for 6 years, which is very, very important and pivotal time of their lives, and then until basically to the point that they came to me. So not only that, but all their ancestors, everything that they bring on a DNA level, all the patterns that they because we are a product of, right, of the our parents and their parents and their parents, and
Mhm.
then all the past and parallel lives, not just on this planet but any other planet. I know this sounded really crazy, but I was like, I'm sure it's possible, otherwise I wouldn't have the idea.
Mhm.
I wouldn't have the idea if this wasn't a possibility. So my obsession was, I'm not going to stop until I'm able to do this. Well, I'm never going to stop. I'm already able to do this, but obviously, there's more, and so the last 2 years, I come back from very, very, let's say, kind of completely shut down 3D outer reality. So I hermited. I was working with clients, but very my inner circle. I was not out there. I was not visible because I was going through my own cycles of awakening, and as I said, there was some shadow to be integrated with. I was not able to integrate until basically last year, and that kind of work that was very, very difficult. um, Now it resulted, and because I had all these knowledge and abilities, so I was able to do it on myself and my inner circle that came with me for basically 2 years, um, and closely working together with them, we decomposed the ego. We decomposed the stories that we believe are true about ourselves, that they are controlling our reality. And I understood that actually what we call matrix and what we call the illusion, it's or the stories, those filters, like I love, or shadow, right? It's all the same thing.
Mhm.
So we there is the true self, right? The divine consciousness self that is creating this experience through you. There is creating your body, is creating your mind, your ego, your character, your story. But that those things, when you come into this experience, there's all these filters that are coming on top. You already bring the from your ancestors, from the parents, their own patterns. So I see this over and over and over again, that people are living their lives through these patterns. And there is no freedom in that. There is no freedom of choice because the unaware, not being aware of what's going on doesn't give you the possibility to choose something different.
Mhm.
And this is what I realize now coming out, that there is, and I always knew there is a shortcut, like it must be something that, because I know the majority of people don't have 20 years to do this, journey. I volunteered for this, and I volunteered to understand it so then I can create something that it can integrate the shadow, or with other words, take off this filter of not enoughness, of unworthiness, of I am not loved or not lovable, or I don't matter, or I'm not important. Like these are the filters that we are bringing from our ancestors, and sometimes parallel lives as well that we call karma. And then it's activated somewhere in between our conception and the first 6 years of our lives. That core wound, it's created that big filter, and that is filtering our experience every moment. And from that, or through that filter, we are creating and experiencing reality, creating it and experiencing it. So this is why people are looping in the same experience. This is why they are unable to come out. This is that kind of pattern or shadow that they are experiencing everything that's out there. So my big message lately in the last, let's say, a year and a half, started to be about teaching people that there is no out there. There is no reality that is separate from you. You are your 3D reality. You are everything that you believe about yourself. It's being projected into your 3D reality. So our self-concept, which is filtered by the shadow, that's very important, right? So the self, the true self with the shadow, with the filter of I'm not enough or I'm not, lovable or whatever. Basically, if you really go down, and I did go down, I always ended up to the one core wound. There is not many, but people get being triggered every day in 100 million ways by the boss, by the husband, by the child, by the postman, by the looking at their bank account, by million things that's happening out there. But the crazy thing, Naomi, is that it's one thing. It's one thing that it's keep being triggered, that one pain. And it's being triggered every day by a million different things because you are creating it so you can finally liberate yourself. But the problem is that nobody knows how to liberate themselves. So what happens in the world, including spirituality, a spiritual world, that when that uncomfortable feeling is coming up, that shame, pain, that not enoughness, that fear of failure, or fear of rejection, the fear of abandonment, the fear of not being good enough, um, we we first of all feeling that way. So that's how majority of the people feel, and then they decide to go out there, right? And let's say build a business so then they can be successful, so that they can make enough money, so they can prove that they are enough, and then believing that eventually they can get to a point where they feel enough so they can stop and start living and enjoying life, which obviously will never happen. So because this shadow is controlling the action, is control, everybody's doing it from fear. Like I've been there, I've created the business out of my unworthiness, just to realize that I was overachieving, overgiving, over delivering, undercharging. And I couldn't feel where is enough is enough. I believe that if I just help more people, if I just make more money, eventually I will finally feel whole and complete and successful. And I just got burned out emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually, because I was just giving more and more and more and never felt that I've done enough and given enough. And I just felt empty always, no matter how much I achieved. And I see this everywhere. And so this is basically my biggest message, is that when that is gone, that shadow, that one core wound is dissolved and integrated, not get rid of, not pushed away, not reprogrammed, not released and whatever a million things we do with it, but actually experienced and integrated. It's gone forever. And this is insane because all of a sudden we don't want anymore to prove, to go and achieve, to push, to distract ourselves, to obsess about things, to get addicted to things. because everything comes from that one thing. And it's crazy. Our whole world is built on lack and pain. Like, how can you somehow, numb that emptiness inside of you, that pain inside of you? Everything is created based on that. That's why we do, like, the way I was doing this was learning. Like, I needed to know more. That's why my basically obsession about methods and techniques, because every time I felt, yeah, no, well, no, I feel disappointed because things didn't go the way I want, or I didn't achieve the thing in my business that I wanted. I always got to the same conclusion. I need more. I need better. I need more expensive. This coach, that guru, this school, that technique, and that was my own escaping mechanism to not feel that I have failed.
Mm.
And all the addictions are about this. Everything is just, people are doing it physically, over pushing their body when that thing wants to be healed, because we don't have tools, we don't know what to do with it, and we were taught to suppress it. So we are like billions of people suppressing that pain that wants to be seen, experienced, and would be gone forever, so we wouldn't need to tiptoe around our partners, our relationships, our parents, our children, trying to please everyone, trying to make everyone happy, being afraid that we're going to be not good enough and they're going to, go away or leave us or abandon us. And then these obsessions that we have about proving and working hard, and that's insanity. And this, Naomi, can be gone in a couple of weeks. And that's a big thing. And now that I came back and I realized what's the shortcut, what's the secret, what's the missing piece that I didn't understand until now. Now I see it, and it's just was always there in front of our eyes. Always. But it's just so counterproductive to the way we think. It's just so, we are so wired to escape it, that we don't realize that we are doing it to ourselves. It's a
Yeah.
whole society doing it to themselves because they don't understand. I didn't understand until I was at this level of consciousness. From here is very easy. But when we are looping inside of our pain and trying to distract and escape, it's impossible.
Yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like the thing that you found is getting to that core
Yeah.
wound, right? Or
Straight, like
straight
nothing
to the
else
core
but
wound.
just that. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. But
And
the
this
only
can
way,
be different. A few different core wounds is what you've found so far, right? Like it could be a
it's
couple
one.
different. Oh, it's just one. Oh, okay. What is that?
That's
What is
crazy.
that core wound that you have noticed that
Well, as
that's
I
the
said,
one?
everybody, most of the time, like no matter where we are going, we always getting back to the fear that I'm not loved.
Mm,
It's the not being loved. Even not enoughness comes down. Like even the don't matter. Because these are the core, we say beliefs, but actually it's not the belief itself, it's the pain behind the belief.
mm,
I spent years in reprogramming subconscious mind and it didn't help. It did for some time, like kind of tackling some aspects, but eventually I went back to the unworthiness again, and the not enoughness. So unworthiness and not enoughness and not deserving and not and thus I don't matter, I'm not important, all comes down to the one core thing: I'm not loved or I'm not lovable.
mm.
So what
Yeah.
I do, I just go down to that one thing and to the original wound, because that's crazy, right? If you go back to the original, and funny enough, you don't have to like even that is like, it doesn't even matter. You don't have to go back to the original wound, because your original wound is here every day in every trigger that you had today in the morning, half an hour ago, is that one pain, one pain over and over again. So that one pain, when let's say I have million stories like that, but the latest one from yesterday, a client who had that one pain, and sometimes, okay, sometimes can be from a past life as well. So it's basically the same wound, but it doesn't matter. So you don't, and I know because I've done so many past life regressions, because I can see other people's past lives like a movie in front of my eyes. It doesn't matter. That's why I'm able to say so confidently that it's not necessary, because I've been there, done that, and now I am like, yes, but you don't need that either, and yes, but that you don't need that either. That's why I can say that it's a shortcut. I've just done this with someone in 3 days, 15 years in 3 days, because that original wound, whether it's from this life, and it definitely was activated in this life as well, but I'm saying that you might bringing it from another one, which it doesn't matter. But let's say that in the morning your boss said something and you got so triggered because you are doing so much, you are over giving and over delivering all the time beyond your power, and then your boss comes in, let's say today, and he just says something like, you could try, you could do more, or like something so little thing, like, or maybe you just see just half of a word that he just, you know, drops there for you, or, and then you feel this pain inside, this anger inside of you of like why he's not seeing how much I do, why he's not seeing that I cannot give anymore, why, and then you just feel so much pain, that nobody is seeing you, that nobody is valuing or appreciating who you are and what you are giving, and to the point of exhaustion. And you think, again, maybe get to the conclusion that maybe the boss is the problem, the job is the problem, or you should give even more, that's the problem. But actually, the problem is that pain, the pain of you believing, I mean, basically, you just, because the boss said something, but the pain and the suffering comes from what the meaning of what you think that means, that what he said.
Yeah,
If you
what you interpret from
Exactly,
the
because if you
from
didn't have that pain, whatever he says, you wouldn't take it as the biggest attack in the whole entire world. Because if you felt deep inside that you are the most worthiest person in the universe, no matter what other people say, you would, whatever he says, it would not even, you wouldn't even hear it.
hmm
You hear it because it's your opportunity to heal. That's why triggers are here. It's your shortcut to liberation. But nobody knows, like, what does it even mean and how the heck can I do that? So this is what I realized, that how much time I wasted to get to this one point, and understanding that if you just could hold that pain, well, obviously, if you are just triggered by your boss, well, then later, after you're alone, postpone it until you are alone. But if you could just hold it, like hold the pain without distracting yourself like you always do, because everybody has their own way
or
that works
numbing
for them.
it, numbing it, like, yeah.
Yeah, there is a way either to numb it, to distract, or escape. That's what we do. Like everything, smoking, drinking, scrolling, like shopping,
hmm
you name it, like binge watching, whatever is your thing, you will try to escape because you are wired that way. So when you had the core wound, your whole entire system said, I'm going to do everything I can possibly can to avoid that this pain ever happens to me.
hmm
That's where it happened, and then it keeps happening because it wants to be healed. So that's why people attract their partners, right? And then that's like all the time mirroring. They're going to mirror it because you're bringing your partner in to help you see it, liberate it, and be free. And oh my God, when this is gone, I mean, Naomi, I'm reading every day testimonials. People are sending it to me, and it's gone. Like people putting down medication for panic attacks, alcohol from one day to another. They can finally sleep because everything we do comes from avoiding that pain.
Mhm.
It's a running away, it's a non-stop running away and escaping. So the moment that you stop and you say, okay, let's, like, not running away, but you stop and turn, and you actually are finally ready to say, okay, come on, let's do this. I'm here. I'm here to feel it. And if you can sit down and feel that pain 100% and you don't do anything, just sit there, sit, wait, allow, hold, wait, allow. No matter what the mind wants to do, no matter what's telling you, you just know it's my time to liberate myself. And if you can sit there until you experienced it 100%, it's transformed, alchemized, and gone forever. That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it brings up another question that I have where, I when you're in this spiritual work, right, and you're a seeker, got all this knowledge, like, I can totally resonate with you because I am the same. Like I want to know all the things and I want to get the biggest picture I can of what's all happening here and, like all the players, all the energies, all the things that can, possibly like take you in
Mm.
different places and all that. Um, you tend to build hypothesis about like what you think this is doing, like, okay, what is this game, what is this thing we're doing? And so for me, what I've come up with is this hypothesis that, we're here as piece of source, universe, whatever you want to call it, God. And it's like, well, we come to have experiences. Like I feel like that's, at least in my perspective, that's what we're doing. It's not about getting it right. It's not about, like getting to an end result, like where it's like, okay, you've done everything right, now you get the
Yeah.
key to the city. It's like, uh, this is all right. Like everything we're doing is right, like this is what we've come to do, and it's about those experiences. And so, um, for me, it sounds like when you're describing this, which again totally resonates with me. I've seen this work in place, and I love that you've gotten to that core wound, because that, is a whole topic in itself.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
it feels like the like once you get to that experience, it's like, okay, here's the core wound, or the emotions that I'm avoiding. I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to feel unloved. I don't want to feel underappreciated. I don't want to feel this. But then you do turn around and you face it and you allow it to come in. To me, it feels like it's like, because it finally goes away is because your soul is like, that's what I wanted to experience. Like that's all you had to do in the first place. Like we're here for all these different experiences. So here's all the triggers, here's all the things, that you're just naturally receiving because it's coming to you. Your soul is like, well, this is what I signed up for. I wanted to experience this. I wanted to experience this. I wanted to experience this. And so, you kind of loop around, because when you try to avoid it, your soul's still trying to call in that experience because that's what I wanted. Like I'm here to have this experience. And so, but it's like once you turn around and you receive that experience and with its fullness, I'm in it, I feel it, I'm actually experiencing it and I'm not running away from it, then it's like your soul's like, thank you. That's exactly what I wanted to experience. It's like going on going to an amusement park and you're like, I want to go on that ride. And so you go to all the other rides except for that ride. And your soul's like, but I still want to go. I don't want to leave yet. We're not leaving yet because I want to go on that ride. And you keep getting pulled towards that ride. But it's scary, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't like it's going to be uncomfortable and I don't want to avoid that ride and it's like but I'm here I came here to go on that ride. One of those rides
Mm.
that I wanted to go on was that ride. And so until you go on that ride and you have that experience, and yeah, you might be afraid, be uncomfortable, all the things, but then it's like, okay, now we can go. Now we can go do something else.
Yeah, I
It's
think
like,
I think it's yeah, I also feel the same way. I would only add one thing,
uh-huh.
that I think the journey we are on right now as light workers, and now I put everyone into the light worker bucket, no matter. So anyway, who is on the spiritual journey and have been, they are all light workers because they felt the call. They know why they are here. So I think that in this lifetime, our purpose is to wake up, right? So our purpose is to remember who we truly are. That's beyond that, beyond this matrix. And the matrix is all this never ending pain that was passed down, these patterns that nobody have, like it just was coming more and more like suppressed. My mother also comes from like, she abandoned me because her mother also didn't want her. So, and then before, like this, all these little the stories, all so much pain be given down and passed down generation to generation. Nobody knew how to liberate. We were just recreating the same story. So now that's why it's so difficult, because we are cutting all these regenerated pain and suffering for hundreds and thousands of years, and we are the born into these lines to cut this, to say stop, like we are not going to give down to our children, and because the unawareness and the unconsciousness was perpetuating it. So we are waking up, and that's why we are able to say, that's why we are waking up to, like, I don't want to do this, like I don't want to continue this, this has to stop. So we are the brave ones. We are you, your listeners, everybody who has, who is attracted to this knowledge, knows that came to liberate not only himself and herself, not only the family and the ancestors, but through and our parallel lives are also getting transformed and awakening, because it's all connected. I see this when I'm working with clients who have this ability to feel into their parallel lives, and they tell me, yes, when we were doing the process, I could and we went back to the core wound. At the same time, I could feel my angelic being, my incarnation, that version of me who felt exact the same pain with the creator, and in this
Mhm.
life as a baby with my father, right? So the
Well,
same, and she was like, I was healing the pain and feeling the pain, but I could feel that it's happening at the same time. And I was like, yes. So we are doing through our realizations and through alchemizing ours, we are alchemizing our parallel lives, our ancestors, and the collective as well. That's why we are so amazing. And if anyone here was doubting, anyone from your listeners were doubting what a big thing they came here to do, well, now now they don't, right? Because don't doubt, it's absolutely huge what each of us taken upon us voluntarily, to really pierce that veil, to really realize that the shadow is an illusion, but it feels like a prison, and it felt for so many of us. And now I see that we are able to just break it and liberate ourselves, and it's a completely different reality on the other side. And so many, well, we can call it 5D, we can call it whatever we want to call it. It's just absolutely different experience, because our entire previous life, like half or until now, we were experiencing and creating it from all these patterns. um, but why we are here is to see it, transform it, alchemize it, and then we become the path to follow, the examples to follow, because we know, hey guys, by the way, I've done it, like this is how you do it. And then millions are able to liberate themselves. That's the work so
Absolutely.
many of us are doing now, and it's not easy.
No. Not at all.
But we wouldn't have come if it was easy, because all the souls that
So
are
true.
now here, like star seeds coming from Sirius and Pleiades, and a million things, and Venus and whatever. We said like we wouldn't come if this is easy, because I'm going to get bored. So like it's
Yep.
either like challenging and then I'm going to love it, or I'm not coming.
Yep, absolutely. And I never understood that. And when I started my spiritual journey, I was like, why? Like, why me? Why is this happening? What's going on? But then as I started just diving in and seeking and understanding, my soul and my purpose more, and it's showing me all of these, like the bigger picture of, well, here's what you're here to do, and here's why it's important, and here's, and you've had, I can't remember like all my past lives, but I could see that I've had a lot, and experienced a lot of different incarnations, and so it's like you've done this in multiple
Oh yeah.
places before, but it's like, you only come in when it's like the big stuff, because that's the good stuff for you. And it's like all
Heavy
these
chills.
little, yeah, it's like all these little incarnations of like, oh, I just want to go be a baker. And when, it's like, if there's nothing going on, if there's not something big and catastrophic happening, then you don't want any part of it. So,
Because you
so
will
I
be
know that for
bored,
me too. It's just like,
because
yeah,
you're high
I'll get
level.
bored.
So it's either like good juicy stuff, or I'm
Yeah.
not coming.
I want the real battle. Like I've always known that I was like a warrior, had that warrior spirit, but this is a different type of warrior that we're becoming. We are frontline workers, and there it is hard, but it's a different hard. It's not a punch your way out of things thing. It's like punch your way in.
Yeah, it's alchemizing
It's
the pain.
like
That's what I realized, that the only thing, and that you need to be very brave to do that, very
mhm.
brave to do that, to go into your shadow, in the biggest fears that you have. That you have to be a very, very advanced soul, because it really feels you going into hell. So, but now, when you are on the other side, I look back and I'm like, well, it wasn't that bad at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, in the middle of it, you're like, but
Yeah.
then, yeah, afterwards, it was like, I could
It
do that
always feels
again.
much
I could
like,
do it
looking back,
again.
it's like, come on, you were just a little bit of drama queen there, but
Yeah,
actually it wasn't that
so
bad.
true.
It's just
Yeah.
an emotion, like at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Well, and do you believe that, or I guess kind of bringing up another question, and a lot of people in the spiritual community that are more active on social media or podcasts and stuff like that, a lot of people are talking, and even like Joe Dispenza talking about the new human, the new earth, um with us getting to this core wound at a much faster pace than maybe you or I have. It's like, do you feel like that has anything to do with us bringing in the new humans or the new earth? And how, for you, like in your perspective, what do you see with that?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Um, you know, hmm, what I always say, we say this living from our higher self. There is this expression where our higher self actually, or our true self, is the self that's beyond the limitation of the shadow, beyond the limitation of this I'm not enough, I'm not lovable, blah blah, which was always a lie. But it didn't feel like that. So when that's gone, that limitation is gone, because 99% of our energy and even our manifestation energy goes in, like we are in pain and lack and whatever, and then we say, okay, let me just start putting all my focus, all my energy to bring in my soulmate, so then he comes in and he's going to love me to bits, and then I finally will feel, whole, complete, and loved, and important and appreciated. But it's never going to happen. So we even our manifestation or creative power was focused from pain, from lack. So we everything that it's right now created in the world, it's everything is a like a, what would I say, a conclusion on top of pain, like on top of some type of pain. And if you really look around, I love biographies of big people, reading like Arnold Schwarzenegger. If you really read his book, he also talks about not enoughness, right? So he comes
Mm-hmm.
from this pain of proving, like, so he pushed so hard and so much sweat and blood and tears to prove that he's the best, to prove that he can do this and accomplish that and conquer this. And well, then you look at Will Smith. I love him. I love his biography. Same thing, right? So this pain with his father, of like keep telling him that you worth shit, basically. And then he's so like pain of trying to prove his father. Then he gets all the Grammys and all, and then he's empty, and then his life collapses because he realized, I have everything I ever wanted, or anything people say that if you have, you're going to feel finally, fulfilled, happy, and joyful. And that one, when he was feeling the most depressed, when he had everything. So then he started his journey to go inwards, but he had to collapse first. Like first he got it and then collapsed, and then, okay, Jim Carrey, same stuff, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you can name it, everybody, everything out there, the majority of the things out there comes from pain. Now imagine if we are done with that. We can finally create beyond that. Like we can finally put all the energy and focus to change the world, because our creation energy won't come from balancing or feeling a little bit better, but you are already whole, complete, worthy beyond belief. You are unlimited because you know that everything is possible. You know you are creator of your own reality. You are not in pain, so you don't have to create something to feel better. Now you can create anything, like, and now you can access levels of consciousness ideas download from Sirius, from Pleiadian, from places that they already done it, because you're not occupied your mind with the healing. So now you can bring down things that are not yet on planet Earth.
Mm,
You can access them
love
because
it.
you are freed up. So now you are like, you are so high, you are still, you are peaceful, you don't have, you are not in pain and suffering. So all of a sudden 99% of your energy is freed up. What are you going to do?
Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's when you really tap into creating from love, creating
Yeah.
from that
From
unconditional
abundance,
love,
from love, from
abundance,
freedom, from joy.
which is your higher self, your highest expression of yourself. And I love that you said too that you can access, these other higher realms, and, like even going into starseed energy or past life stuff, past cosmic lives, or parallel lives. Um, because I've been called to this just kind of goes into, my experience. The beginning of this year, I was called to start teaching again, And I used to teach for like a few years back, and then I just kind of stopped and just started, doing my own thing, but also going within, like you said, in the last 2.5 years. It was like, oh, okay, here's some more. And but being called back to teaching, and for me, higher level, I always ask why, like, well, why, like, why, it's not just because it's fun. It's like, well, I want to know the bigger picture, like, what are we doing here? And it was like, more and more people are awakening, I get that. But then it's like, but the ancestor energy and the cosmic connections, starseed energy, aliens, if you want to call it, like angelics, like all the other energies are like going to be more and more accessible. We're going to be more conscious about those supports that we have, and that access that we have available as humans, because we're stepping more fully into um that superpower that is already ours as a human. We're able to access these consciousness, but we just haven't, because we either limited
Because
or
of
we
what I
just,
just said, like
yeah,
that's
all
very
the things that
difficult
you
if
just
you are
said.
all 24/7 in pain and suffering, like it's difficult to
Yes,
access higher levels of consciousness.
right, absolutely. But just, kind of going into like teaching again, and it's like, because people are ready, they're going to be ready, they're already getting, more and more people are getting ready to want to know how to develop these gifts, and how to use them, how to strengthen them. Going into these core wounds, like people are seeking this information now, like, I know there's something in there and I get to it, but I just can't figure it out. And that's why those of us that have already done the work, and we're like, oh, we got the framework, like, come on, I got you, let's walk through this. It's like, that's just creating that new human, version of all of us. Like, it's just accessing it more exponentially than ever before, because we're all ready to step into that. And that's what we're creating new earth with, is what I'm feeling. So, because we are ready to create from a space of love, abundance, higher frequency energy. And when we do that, I work with a lot of entrepreneurs. And so, I talk to them all the time about how business is shifting. Like, it's going to
Oh
shift,
yeah.
and it's not going back. Like, we're not going
Oh
back
my
to
God, that's a completely new episode.
right, right.
Um, Talking
But
about
this
5G
is a part
business.
of it, right? Like, it's because
Absolutely.
we need to we need to rebuild our foundations, and our intentions need to be shifted in business to align with that love, with that abundance, with that, all that
But the
higher
same,
frequency energy.
businesses are and were created on top of lack, on
Yeah.
top of proving that I am enough, proving that I'm going to be successful, and then I'm going to make this amount of money. So then finally I will feel this and this and that. So everything comes out of there. And then that's how now it's shifting. Like imagine that you don't have to prove anything anymore. So
Mhm.
imagine that you start building your a business on your gifts and talents, but from a place of wholeness and abundance and already feeling successful because you are, just because you are, like, and it's automatic, you don't have to do anything. And that's what happens when you do this work that I just said, that you become that what you always been. So that's when it's you go back to your original way of being, and you don't have to do anything to feel worthy, because you automatically feel worthy when the shadow is gone, and you
Mm.
automatically feel abundant because that's who you are.
Yes, yes, yes. And it's so exciting. Like, and yeah, looking back at the work that we've done, and you did it longer than I did. So just, but it was work. It was hard. It is hard, and but it's now like worth it, like it was worth
Oh
it.
yeah.
Then we knew there was a light at the end of the tunnel, right? And now we're starting to see the light, and it's getting bigger, and it's like, yes, it's forming, and it's just exciting.
Oh yeah, it's like, whew,
Yep.
finally. I
Yeah.
thought it's never going to happen actually, but there were times that I thought that this is in vain. Like, why?
Yep. I was there too. Yep. Well, thank you so much for all that. That's amazing. Like, I loved everything you said. And um would you be able to walk us through like some kind of activation, some kind of, anything where, for listeners that are like, I'm ready, what do I do? Like, where do I start? Or, like even just energetically,
Sure,
is there anything that you can
sure.
kind of offer to like
The
get them
process is very
started?
simple. The process is very simple. Is really just that what I said. Um, and and so just go back to the steps that I just said. So if you there's any trigger in your life right here right now, that's that core wound that wants to be that core pain that wants to be experienced um, through your body and just needs the living. Sometimes it takes 2 minutes, guys. It's not like you have to do this for weeks. It really is that 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, okay? And just sit there, just feeling whatever is the emotion. If it's anger, just sit with anger. Nothing to do, just sitting with it, or shame, or the pain of not being enough, or whatever is that. It doesn't matter. If you can just sit there and hold that space for yourself, how you know it's gone, you will feel relief. You will feel automatically joy coming in when it's 100%
Mm,
processed. Now, in case you cannot do this alone, I am also creating now another group experience where I take a whole entire group through this, bringing awareness to how you're escaping it so you actually can do and become like, oh, wow, I've been doing this my entire life. So to have some understanding of your entire life, and then I bring the whole group through the experience, and then uh, and I actually teach what you can do. But like I'm seeing this sometimes it happens in one sessions, like it's because there's so many like spiritual seekers who have been doing so much. So every time you cried your eyes out, that was already liberation. So there's a lot of liberation already happened, so it's not much left. That's why
mm,
it's so fast now. um, but yeah, if you feel that you need more support, I'm happy to work with you. You can work one-on-one with me. I have short packages as well, 1 session, 4 sessions, or a little bit longer. If it's longer, then I bring basically the whole entire spirit team in, and higher self, and then I'm my intention always the same. How can I do the 100 liberation, like help this person to do the 100 liberation so they start living from their higher self? That's true connection beyond limitations. That's always the goal. And then of course everything you want to create is going to be a conclusion of who you are. So manifestation, it's not something you seek out there from lack, but you become what you seek, and then that what you seek finds you. Well,
mm.
that's what, how can I describe that? So yeah, that's, so these are the ways right now that people can find me. I'm on Facebook, the most active right now, which I guess you're going to put the link in. My
Yes. Mhm.
website is my name, agneslukac.com. So that's where you can, or your audience can read about me, and everything is there at the moment. And yeah, I am planning to do more group what's the like containers, and short ones, because right now that's what excites me. Longer ones when I can give more teaching and going much deeper. But right now what I feel so excited is to actually do this, because it just makes me so happy when I hear people saying, oh my God, I love so much this process, but I don't get triggered at all, so I cannot use it. Just like I'm so, because they're so empowered now, because there's like I'm looking for triggers, but it's like nothing in the whole world can push me out of feeling unfuckwittable anymore. So, and
Yes.
that's
Yes.
for me, like that's exactly why I said let's talk, because I want that to happen. So that's really, there's a million things that I could say and I could teach, and but because we are out of time, the really the most important thing is to understand that the moment you decide to face your monster, because it does feel like a monster, that's why we're running away from it. The moment you are able to sit down and allow to be there and be transformed, you will realize it was never a monster. It was, they were butterflies, but you only see that when you are able to stop and allow it.
Absolutely. I love that. Well, thank you so much. I bet that was already beneficial to the people that heard this. And for those that are listening, just trust that there's no coincidences why you needed to hear this. And anything that lit up in your body, take that as a sign that that rang true for you, or that's something that, maybe look forward or look more into. Um, because there's something there. And so, yeah, definitely trust your intuition as you've been listening, and definitely go and check out Agnes's work, because yeah, this is incredible, and I'm right in alignment with what we've discussed today too. It definitely feels like this is where we're heading, and it's very, very exciting for I'm excited because of everything that's already happened, but I'm even more excited because I still got a lot of life to live. And so I'm like, what are we going to keep doing? Like,
We are
I'm
just starting now, guys,
right.
just starting out.
Like, if it's this good now, it's like, oh, what's coming up? Like, I'm ready. Like, this is going to be cool. So, yep. If we can do this now, like, what are we going to be able to do in the next 20 years?
Yeah, we can't even imagine.
Right, right. Yep. Well,
Because
thank you
it goes
again for
beyond everything we can imagine. So that's why.
absolutely. Yeah. No, I'm here for the surprises. Like, I love being surprised. So well, thank you again,
Mhm.
Agnes. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Naomi, for the opportunity. And I really enjoyed this so much. So hope to see you soon then for another episode, maybe a little bit later on in the future.
Absolutely.
So good. Thank you so much.